Now, in continuing to talk about Westworld Season 3, there's a few things that I just don't really feel super clear on. Maeve's character, while fascinating, doesn't seem to really obey the laws of physics. So I get that in this section of the show, like in the first arc, it's really about Maeve not only like further understanding that she's in a simulation, but really having this sort of interesting AI access within the world of the simulation to observe through cameras in the outside world where her pearl orb is being stored. You might have somewhere in your subconscious, because this season came out a few years ago, this memory of when she very smartly hacks this sort of patrol robot and is able to break her pearl out before sadly getting shot down. And as we know, Sirach is like totally in charge of kind of everything. He's kind of in this world, like Insight is sort of comparable to Google or Facebook or Oracle or one of these like massive big data companies that is constantly collecting all of our data and then using AI to like predetermine how we're going to make purchases. And in the world of Westworld, they have this sort of, master thing called Rehobo that is able to, using a lot of complex calculations, predict all of the sort of various outcomes that a human life could have. And if you'll remember, we got to see like young Zadie Sirach when he was with his Parisian brother and that sort of tech billionaire investor guy who was douchebag guy's dad. And we got the whole backstory of like, Paris got destroyed. His brother's this kind of troubled genius. He invents this amazing thing, Rehobo, etc., etc. But anyway, so after Maeve breaks free and with the robot, she's in the simulation war world. She uses that robot to escape. It gets shot down. And then she wakes up in this sort of palatial garden place. And we sort of realize this was Sirach's understanding all along, and that he initially thought that Maeve was like Dolores and that she was the kind of the bug in the machine, the one that was like capable of thinking on her own and was going to be the downfall. But he's now identified, no, that's actually Dolores, but you're going to help me, because if you don't, I'm not going to let you reunite with your daughter. And worse, if you don't, I'm going to torture you. And Maeve's like, bro, I'm literally going to kill you right now. Which she tries to do, but then Sirach sort of asserts his power and like presses his little button and is able to freeze her. Now here's where it's very confusing, because the laws of the show seem to break themselves, because at one point in the show, Maeve suddenly accesses her powers and breaks the button that Sirach has that freezes her. And it's not really clear how that button works. I think I love Westworld, but it's sometimes their storytelling, like N.K. Jemisin talks about this in world building, like you have to follow the rules of the world that like you literally created. You can't just change them based on convenience.